day after tomorrow. Cold. Where the hell is everybody?
Do the monsters really exist?
They did. But there are no more left. They all died from the cold.
If they all die, then why do you keep so many locks on the door?
In the world of science fiction and horror, there comes a film that combines raw human survival instincts with the chilling reality of extinction itself. Extinction, released in 2015, is not just another post-apocalyptic movie, but an atmospheric, character-driven tale that plunges deep into fear, loss, and the last flicker of hope. The movie carries the weight of isolation and the terror of creatures that linger after civilization's downfall. What sets this film apart from many others in its genre is how it chooses to slow down and examine the fragile humanity of its characters, while chaos and destruction define the world outside. The entire film feels like a haunting portrait of survival in the face of despair, mixing moments of silence with sudden bursts of horror that remind us that extinction isn't just about the end of the world. It's about the end of connection, of trust, of everything we cling to in order to feel human. The cast anchors the movie beautifully, and it all begins with Matthew Fox, who plays Patrick, a man hardened by both loss and the brutality of survival. Known for his ability to bring intensity and vulnerability together, Fox delivers a gripping performance that makes his character's personal conflicts as compelling as the threats from the outside world. Jeffrey Donovan portrays Jack, another survivor whose strained relationship with Patrick forms the emotional core of the story. Their tension is not only about differing philosophies of survival, but about a painful shared history that becomes harder to ignore in their secluded, fragile existence. Alongside them, Quinn McColgan plays Lou, a young girl whose innocence is shadowed by the dangers that surround her. Her role is crucial because she represents the possibility of a future, even in a time where extinction seems inevitable. The chemistry between the three main characters forms the backbone of the movie, reminding the audience that even in the bleakest settings, relationships are what define us and drive us to endure. The plot begins years after a catastrophic outbreak that decimated humanity. A world once filled with life is now frozen and barren, where the remaining survivors have retreated into solitude, fearing both the lingering infected and each other. Patrick and Jack, once close, have become bitter enemies, separated by guilt, betrayal, and a past they cannot reconcile. Their lives are defined by suspicion and silence, each man doing what he can to provide safety while keeping a distance that is both physical and emotional. Between them is Lou, a child who grows up in this divided environment, caught between the hostility of two men who both feel responsibility for her. The infection itself has mutated over the years, and the creatures that once seemed like mindless threats are becoming more dangerous and cunning, forcing the survivors to confront not only their personal demons, but the possibility that the enemy outside is evolving faster than they can handle. The story unfolds in a mixture of eerie quiet and terrifying outbursts, as the tension between the characters grows parallel to the rising threat from the infected. Every decision feels like a gamble, every night a question of survival, and every silence carries the weight of regret and memory. The film builds its narrative through atmosphere rather than relentless action. The snowy landscapes are not just a backdrop, but a metaphor for isolation, desolation, and the coldness that has seeped into human hearts after so much loss. The camera lingers on details that heighten the dread: the cracking ice, the distant cries in the dark, the walls built as flimsy protection against enemies who are more relentless than ever. This slow, deliberate packing is what makes Extinction both haunting and unique. Instead of racing from one action scene to the next, it lets us sit with the characters, understand their fears, and feel the tension of their separation. Then, when the attacks come, they strike harder, like lightning cutting through silence. The horror doesn't just come from monsters, but from the choices the survivors must make, the truths they must face, and the memories that never stop haunting them. The infected are terrifying, but the most painful battles are the ones fought between Patrick and Jack, battles of blame, guilt, and mistrust. Released in July 2015, Extinction entered the horror landscape as a film that dared to go against the grain of fast-paced, jump-scare-driven genre entries. Its focus on character dynamics, particularly the uneasy relationship between two men forced to protect a child, added depth to what could have been just another monster movie. The release was met with a mix of reactions, with some praising its slow-burn intensity and others expecting more traditional scares. But over time, it has carved out its place among fans of thoughtful sci-fi horror. It stands as a reminder that horror can be more than quick shocks. It can also be about atmosphere, psychology, and the terrifying question of what it truly means to survive when everything else is gone. The release brought Matthew Fox into a role that showcased his range in a new light, and it gave audiences a chance to see survival horror from a more intimate perspective. The trailer for Extinction captured these themes in a chilling way. It opened with stark imagery of snow-covered ruins, emphasizing the silence of a world abandoned. Patrick's voice layered over the visuals, reflecting on survival, regret, and the cost of enduring when so much has been lost. Quick cuts revealed the hostility between Patrick and Jack, their glares sharp and their words laced with resentment, while the presence of Lou hinted at innocence in danger. The trailer moved from quiet dread into moments of explosive horror, showing flashes of the infected lurking in the dark, their monstrous forms partially hidden to heighten mystery and fear. The sound design amplified the terror, heavy breathing, distant growls, sudden crashes, all woven into a rising score that promised both emotional drama and relentless suspense. The final moments of the trailer delivered quick glimpses of desperate survival, screams in the night, and the haunting words that survival is not the same as living. It left viewers with the unsettling impression that extinction is not only a threat to humanity as a species, but to humanity as a state of being. In its entirety, Extinction is a story about broken people in a broken world, trying to hold on to something worth saving while danger presses in from every corner. The narrative draws strength from its exploration of relationships, grief, and the difficult choices that come with survival. The cast breathes life into these themes, making every silence, every word, and every look matter. Matthew Fox's haunted determination, Jeffrey Donovan's simmering bitterness, and Quinn McColgan's fragile innocence create a trio that keeps the story human even as monsters prowl outside. The plot refuses to provide easy answers, instead giving us the raw struggle of life in a world that feels frozen in despair. The release of the movie brought with it a new kind of horror experience, one that valued emotion as much as fear, and the trailer perfectly set the tone for that promise. Extinction stands as a film that doesn't just aim to scare. It aims to linger, to haunt, and to make audiences reflect on what remains when everything else is gone.